You very much. When we were having our first child, she's 26 now, almost 27 years ago, we went to, we thought we were going to have twins, or we thought there could be twins, so back then they did the ultrasound, and at 10 weeks old, she was the size of a Teddy Graham, and if you're not as old as I am, I guess about the size of a gummy bear. She was sucking her thumb and had her own little personality and her own, so, I mean, no matter where you are on this issue, you can't deny these are human beings. I mean, and where you feel they have the right to life or not, that's a different question, I guess, for some people, but they are human beings. Well, now my 26-year-old is going to have our first grandbaby. When she was 13 or 14 weeks along, we went to see the ultrasound, and our little granddaughter, to be, and hopefully May 19th, was sucking her thumb just like her mother, and it was just amazing. That was almost looking at the same picture, other than it's clearer. And so these are distinct and individuals and with their own personalities, and they require their mothers to come into this world and to be life, and get into life. And so as we were looking at some of the questions just my colleague just asked, I was going to ask about, so HR 2975 states that women's health, access to health care is reduced because of anti-abortion laws. And Ms. Collette, I mean, if you just kind of answer, maybe rebut some of the stuff that we just heard. My understanding is they have federal qualified health centers are available. Just because a place providing abortion services isn't available everywhere doesn't mean women aren't getting access to good health care. Could you comment on what was just said?
Certainly. Ms. Northrup, I believe, mischaracterized the Hellerstadt case. The Texas evidentiary record in that case was that there were some difficulties in obtaining admitting privileges, but they did not have the legislative record, nor did they have the disciplinary record of physicians and clinics that exists in Louisiana. In my written testimony, which I would ask to have submitted as part of the record, I actually quote the Fifth Circuit.
All written testimonies are part of the record.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I quote Judge Elrod of the Fifth Circuit, where she notes that there was even a challenge on the part of the abortion clinics as to whether the Supreme Court could see the evidentiary record because of the overbroad protective order that was given at the trial court level. Nonetheless, the Louisiana Department of Health has multiple findings that clinics had unsanitary conditions, that physicians were that were hired were unqualified in the area. In one case, they hired an ophthalmologist to perform abortions. And so the record in the Louisiana case is very, very different than the record that was in Hellerstadt. I'm very optimistic, in fact, that the state of Louisiana will prevail in that case. But that's the distinction. As far as access, even the Guttmacher Institute has published multiple papers showing that regulation is not the primary cause for the decline in access. They have, as late as 2018, said that there are other reasons for the decline of the abortion rates, that while it is a factor, things like the fact that abortion rates have declined by 50%, women are making different choices. And when you lose 50% of your market for services, you are going to have clinics close. It's very simple. And as I testified earlier, Planned Parenthood has this strategy of mega clinics now. One exists in St. Paul, near my home. Another exists in Houston. The newspapers report that they expect to increase their patient rate to 1,000 more people. That's going to affect the smaller clinics. And as Dr. Robinson herself testified, there are times when clinics are located nearby, but that patients choose to go to other clinics for various reasons. Part of it might be the reputation of the clinic in part. So the simple fact is that as far as STI treatment, as far as prenatal care, that is available from other facilities. And if you really are worried about women's health, let's deal with the fact that over 50% of the counties in this country do not provide obstetrical care in their hospitals.
Well, thanks. I also have a question. So the bill before us, HR 2975, forces states to allow abortion regardless of a patient's reasons for seeking abortion. Does that mean that you can have an abortion for any reason, along with this bill, Ms. Collette?
Congressman, that is the state of the law currently pre-viability, and even in many states post-viability. For example, in my home state of Minnesota.
So I only have 15. So sex selection would be
sex selection would be permitted, yes, as would for racial reasons or for the disabilities of the child.
Okay, thank you. I only have 5 seconds.